Good day, folks. I'd like to take the time today to talk to you about something I posted a while back. It was a video regarding how to solve the energy crisis. I'll put a link to that, but a lot of people didn't get it, and they figured that I was suggesting actually modulating the earth field, and we all know the earth field is relatively weak, so they're all saying, how the heck are you going to get usable current out of that? So let me try and explain the concept here. Now, I think you remember the term the Botch wall from what Bedini was saying with magnets. It's that point where the two fields neutralize each other, kind of the same way when we use scalar waves with RF and AC. When we phase them at 180 degrees, you get that canceling, and that's what we consider the scalar wave byproduct. Now, something similar happens with magnetics as well. And that's what I was getting at, is basically create a giant core that interacts with the Earth's magnetic field. And we need to introduce a clever system of a few coils to basically introduce an artificial potential with a trigger, but that could be a very small field because that's just the trigger pulse. So we give us a small trigger, and what happens is it's not just that, but we have a secondary system that at the same time that the trigger gets pulsed, it's basically an anti-field to shield the core from seeing the magnetic field of the Earth or interacting with it in certain areas along the core, kind of artificially creating that Botch wall using the Earth's magnetic field. So what happens is during those shielded areas around the core, during that process, we put our pickup coils and our trigger coils. So what happens is the trigger basically triggers the core to see a very high, much higher field potential than the Earth, but during that time it's shielded from the Earth with the secondary system that's phasing the Earth field out, and then that switches off at the same time that the trigger, so the core all of a sudden feels the Earth's field instead, not like a quote-unquote zero. So what I'm getting at is we're using the equivalent of magnetic potential differences to create a very strong EMF within the core without having to provide that much energy into it, because we're using, essentially, instead of using one trigger, we're using the Earth field as a second trigger, and we're interacting those two triggers together to create a very strong EMF within the core. So we're not modulating, in essence, the Earth field at all in traditional senses. Instead, we're shielding it and introducing a potential difference between our trigger field and the Earth field during the on and off time. And it's that big difference within the core that could create that big EMF, impulse spike, whatever you want to call it. So I will leave a link, and I wanted to explain that real quick here to clarify, because the comments are getting quite, some of them pretty wild. So with that said, folks, I'll leave it at that and just wanted to clarify, and I hope you guys all have yourselves a great day. Thank you.